Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Newly crowned world champion Marc Márquez has shut down talk of a blockbuster return to Honda, insisting his focus remains with Ducati. Asked about speculation sparked by Honda boss Alberto Puig, who called a reunion a dream, Márquez accepted sport can change, but said right now he's settled. My mind is fully on red. Pecco Bagnaia has dismissed claims that his sudden form revival in Japan came from riding Franco Morbidelli's GP24 chassis with the GP25 engine, saying only that items from the past tried at Misano helped, and refusing to confirm the specific bike swap story circulating in the paddock. Reigning champion Jorge Martín has undergone surgery to fix a displaced, multi-fragment collarbone fracture suffered in the Motegi Sprint. Aprilia's medical team described the operation as complex. Screws and a support plate were used to stabilize the brake, and the 2025 recovery outlook is cautious, with immediate rehabilitation the next step and race return still uncertain. Fabio Quartararo has delivered a stark verdict on Yamaha's 2025 progress, saying the biggest step for the current season M1 was actually made at the 2024 Barcelona post-season test. With results since early summer flattening and the new V4 still in its infancy, Quartararo's assessment raises fresh questions about Yamaha's development trajectory and whether the factory can close the gap to the frontrunners before 2026. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update.
Márquez was unambiguous when reporters pressed him on the idea of rejoining his old employer. The Spaniard paid tribute to his long association with Honda but framed any switch as hypothetical rather than imminent. If you are fast and you are happy and you are smiling in one place, don't change. But at the moment I'm very, very happy, and 3 days ago I won the championship with Ducati. So, my mind is fully on red. It's as much a diplomatic refusal as a declaration of priorities, acknowledging Honda's place in his history while signaling no appetite for immediate upheaval. Márquez spent 11 seasons at Honda and collected the bulk of his titles there. Those ties remain personal and public. He reflected warmly on the relationship and the Motegi podium scenes that reminded fans of that past. He described Honda as the longest team of my career, and acknowledged an amazing relationship with the Japanese Marc. That history tempers headlines. A fondness for past employers doesn't equal a transfer plan, especially for a rider who has just won a title on Ducati equipment. Márquez refused to permanently close the door, noting sport can change from one day to the other. Still, he stressed the logic of stability when everything is working. Let's see. You never know, because sport changes from one day to the other. His comments leave a sliver of possibility for the future while firmly prioritizing the present: a title, a top bike, and a settled environment. Márquez's Ducati deal runs until the end of 2026, which makes him inevitably central to the 2027 market. That fuels speculation and invitations from rivals like Honda, but contractual timing, results, and personal contentment will dictate any move. With most factory contracts expiring next year, teams and riders will study 2026 closely. Márquez's championship-winning season makes him the hottest asset on the board. Márquez stressed a simple principle: don't leave when you are competitive and content. Winning the title with Ducati 3 days earlier was the freshest evidence. If you are fast and you are happy and you are smiling in one place, don't change. For now, that practical mindset, prioritizing performance over nostalgia or headlines, outweighs the romance of a reunion. Marc Márquez hasn't slammed the door on Honda forever, but he's made the present choice clear. A champion who just delivered Ducati the crown is not looking for a change. The talk of future reunions will persist. It always will around a rider of his stature. But for the moment, Márquez's answer is short and decisive. The color he's thinking about is red. After a miserable run of results on the GP25 this season, Bagnaia turned his Misano test into a last-chance workshop. Paddock talk, amplified by media including Dorna coverage, suggested Ducati quietly wheeled a VR46-run GP24 into Bagnaia's garage at Misano, bolted in a GP25 engine and handed him a near-instant cure for his confidence issues. The result? Pole and a dominant performance in Motegi. Why it matters? If true, the swap would underline that small chassis-level differences, forks, swing arm, ride height device, not engine spec, were the key to restoring Bagnaia's front-end feel. When asked in Indonesia, Bagnaia acknowledged he and Ducati tried different things at Misano, components that, in the past, gives me more confidence and performance. But he explicitly denied confirming the Morbidelli bike swap story. I'm not confirming what you are saying, but I confirm the feeling I found came from some items we were using in the past. That measured reply leaves room for interpretation while deflecting a headline-worthy admission. Multiple accounts point to concrete changes that can alter rider confidence. 2024 spec forks, swing arm geometry and ride height devices have been mentioned as giving more predictable front grip. Under the 2025 homologation rules, Ducati can mix some components across machines so long as engine rules are respected, which fuels debate over how much hardware swapping can realistically be done inside the rules and paddock optics. Bagnaia's season has been a public struggle. Pressure, confidence, and narrative matter as much as pure lap time. An implicit ultimatum to engineers. Enough, this cannot go on, has been reported in the background. Whether tested parts were fitted to a different chassis or simply trialed on Bagnaia's own GP25, the episode highlights the human side of development, a rider pleading for tools that restore trust. Ducati and Bagnaia will likely stay discreet, admitting wholesale swaps would invite scrutiny. Denying any fix would sound defensive. For now, the safe line from Bagnaia keeps engineers and journalists guessing, and underscores the finer margins that separate pain from performance in modern MotoGP. Martin crashed at the sprint start in Motegi after lunging inside at turn 1 and colliding with teammate Marco Bezzecchi. He was taken to hospital and, following assessment, returned to Spain for surgery. Bezzecchi escaped serious injury and was able to race. The sequence, high-speed touch, crash, hospitalization, underlines how quickly a season can be disrupted for a front-running rider. Dr. Angel Chart, Aprilia's medical director, described the operation as successful but technically demanding because the fracture presented 3 fragments. Surgeons fixed the middle distal third of the clavicle with screws and installed a support plate to prevent displacement. Dr. Chart confirmed the complexity and the hardware used to stabilize the bone. Plate and screw fixation is standard for comminuted clavicle fractures that need absolute stability for healing. Medical staff emphasized uncertainty about return dates. Rehabilitation will start promptly, but exact timelines for Martin's comeback cannot yet be given. Factors include healing rate, rehab progress, and the cumulative effect of Martin's earlier injuries this season. With multiple surgeries and limited recent seat time, rehabilitation milestones will dictate race availability more than calendar targets. Martin will miss the immediate Mandalika round. Given his injury history and the need to prioritize 2026 preparation, it's thought likely he'll also sit out the next flyaway races in Australia, Phillip Island, and Malaysia, Sepang, aiming instead for a later return. Portimao/Valencia windows have been suggested. Missing several rounds has championship and development implications for Aprilia's season planning and Martin's own title defense. The FIM stewards have deferred their hearing into the Motegi incident because Martin is injured. However, a future penalty is possible. Team boss Massimo Rivola publicly labeled the collision a serious misjudgment, indicating the incident's reputational and regulatory weight. A post-recovery hearing could bring sanctions that affect Martin's points and reputation when he returns. Jorge Martin's surgery closed a painful chapter from Motegi, but opened a period of uncertainty. The operation stabilized the fracture, yet recovery timelines remain fluid, shaped by rehab progress and the shadow of previous injuries. On the sporting side, absence from Mandalika, and likely further flyaways, will impact Aprilia's immediate plans and Martin's championship campaign, and a deferred steward's hearing leaves the door open for future sanctioning. For now, the priority is clear: heal, rehabilitate, and return when fully ready. Quartararo argued that the single most important improvement to this year's bike came last winter, not during the season, pointing to the Barcelona post-season test in 2024 as the turning point. He conceded there have been incremental gains since, but said the team's best race moments were concentrated at the start of the year. "No, I think the biggest step we did for this year was the 2024 Barcelona test." That blunt admission reframes Yamaha's season. Early promise has not translated into sustained mid-season development. The M1 showed encouraging signs in the opening European rounds, Le Mans, Jerez and Silverstone, but podium returns since Jerez have been rare. Quartararo noted the strong one-lap form for poles, but warned that weekend consistency and race pace have lagged. He acknowledged early season highs but said, "Since then we are really struggling." The disconnect between qualifying speed and race results has become Yamaha's pressing dilemma. Yamaha's V4 prototype is the headline solution for 2026, but Quartararo's initial impressions after the Misano test were cautious. While the V4 represents a major strategic pivot, early work has exposed teething issues that must be resolved before it can be relied upon as a performance fix. A radical engine layout change can pay dividends, but only if development tempo, rider feedback and packaging integrate quickly. Quartararo highlighted tire behavior as a lingering headache. Rear grip and tire life have undermined race stints. He singled out last year's Barcelona-related tire problems and warned that making tires work over a full Grand Prix weekend remains vital. Rear tire performance has been a constraint on converting pace into results. For Yamaha, improving tire usage and race stability may be as important as raw lap time development. Despite his frank critique, Quartararo underlined a personal focus, improving his own riding and extracting performance from what he has. His one-lap speed shows the rider remains capable, but he accepts the development ceiling is limiting results. "Like I said, I want to focus on myself and try to improve as a rider." That pragmatic stance keeps pressure on the factory, but also signals the rider's willingness to help bridge the gap. Quartararo's blunt assessment is a wake-up call for Yamaha. The season's biggest step forward already being last winter's test is not a flattering metric. With the V4 still in development and race consistency still elusive, Yamaha faces a two-front battle: rapid technical progress and better tire/race management, if it is to reclaim regular podiums before the end of 2025. For now, the Frenchman's message is clear: the tools to fight are there, but the route to use them consistently is not. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!